Shalom everyone, welcome back. So we're up to Parsha's Vayigash. Yehuda is standing there. He guaranteed his father he's bringing back Binyamin. And now Binyamin has been caught red-handed, and this Egyptian king is saying, I'm taking him as slave. And Yeshua steps forward. Yehuda is the king, the leader among the brothers. And this is where Yehuda will regain his footing as the leader among the brothers. He steps up to Yosef and says, listen, you want a slave? I'm a better slave. Anything you need, I can do better than him. So let him go. I'll stay as your slave. And Yosef says, no. He's the thief. You go home. Leave him here. Yehuda says, why do you want him? Because he's a pretty white boy? And here in Egypt, you do all kinds of inappropriate things with little boys? No. Take me. Yosef says, I see a lot of brothers here. Why are you talking? And Yehuda says, I took responsibility. Yosef says, so? He stole. Leave him here. Yehuda says, if you need a servant, I'll be instead. Yosef says, I don't get it. He's the thief. What do you want? Yehuda says, I took responsibility. What will I tell my dad? Yosef says, tell him like you did about your other brother. Tell him he's dead. Tell him something happened. You're good at telling stories. Yehuda says, no. My father, he can't handle another loss. How could I do this to my father? Yosef says, why didn't you say that when you sold your other brother? You did just fine then. Why don't you do that here? Yosef says, I'm ready to kill. Yosef says to Yehuda, what do you mean you're ready to kill? Why would you kill? The guy stole. Yehuda says, I'd kill because I think you're taking him for the wrong reasons. Yosef says to Yehuda, look, you're the one who has a history with doing things for the wrong reasons. Yehuda says, fire's burning in me, the fire of Shechem. We destroyed a city, my two brothers. Yosef says, I don't think you can do that around here. Because if you kill out Egypt, Yehuda, the world is dead. The world needs Egypt. You can't do that. Yehuda says, I'm going to draw out my sword and I'm going to start with you and end with Pharaoh. I'm going to kill everyone here. Yosef says, if you pull that sword, I'm going to wrap it around your neck. You better not draw your sword around here. And he has the soldiers come close. Yehuda roars at them. They all fall back. Yosef says to Yehuda, listen, Yehuda, you can't do that. It's over. In Egypt, if you destroy Egypt, the world's finished. You can't. And when Yehuda sees he has no choice, so Yosef doesn't want to embarrass him further in front of the Egyptians. So he says, by the way, you guys want your brother Yosef? Why don't I bring your brother Yosef out here? He calls all the brothers. He says, you know what? I'm going to call Yosef. And he says to the Egyptians, everyone out. He doesn't want to embarrass his brothers in front of the Egyptians. And now his brothers are standing next to him, and he goes to the right of the room, and he starts calling out, Yosef, the son of Jacob, your brothers are here, come out. And they all walk with him all the way to the right of the auditorium. And no one comes out. So he says, Yosef! And he turns around and he goes all the way to the left side of the auditorium. And he calls out, Yosef, son of Jacob, your brothers are here. They came in all the way from Israel. Come see your brothers. They're looking. He's not coming. He takes them to the north of the room, to the south of the room. And finally he brings them to the center of the room and he takes off the mask and he says, I am Yosef. I am Yosef. And he speaks to them in Hebrew and he reveals to them that he is Yosef. He is circumcised like them. He is their brother. And this is a tremendous lesson about all our challenges in life. Our challenges are a mask. A minute earlier, they thought the world was finished. And when he took off the mask, they understood it was all a mask. It was Yosef all along. Yosef sends wagons to bring his father back to Egypt. The Egyptians are very happy to hear that Yosef's family is a royal family in Israel and they're coming. Yosef sends a message to his dad. You accompanied me and the last thing you taught me was how you have to accompany a person when they leave your home. You took good care of me. Everything that happened to me is not your fault. And he tells the brothers, when you come to dad and he asks, how do I know Yosef's alive? So you'll show him the wagons and you'll tell him that I said the last thing he taught me was Egla Rufa. The last thing he taught me was that you accompany a person when they're leaving you. And so I'm sending him these wagons to accompany him. Yaakov comes down to Egypt with his family. They have a land that was family property from the days of Sarah called Goshen, and they all settled there. And he sends in advance Yehuda to set up the family so that when they come, they have places of education and his children will remain faithful to Judaism. Yaakov meets Pharaoh and blesses him. And when Pharaoh sees Yaakov, he says, "Boy, do you look old." And Yaakov says, "No, I've just had a hard life." That's a sentence Yaakov should not have said. But Yaakov says it, and in heaven, that's held against him. Yaakov settles down with his family in Goshen, and the beginning of our period in Egypt is going to be a blessed one. Yaakov is with the family. Yosef is taking care of the family. Everyone's doing well until next week's Parsha. Shabbat Shalom.